What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to jump in and break down the patch notes for update 2.05 in Destiny 2. This is one of the major updates that we've had since the launch of Forsaken, and there's quite a lot of good stuff in here to break down. So we've got a bunch of sandbox changes, updates and changes to exotics, a few activity changes, adjustments to ammo, then of course some of the more exciting stuff including changes to exotic duplicates, adjustments to enhancement cores or masterwork cores, plenty of other general updates. And as well as this update today, we do have the final reset for Festival of the Lost, and we should be getting a pretty interesting, mysterious, exotic quest pop up in the game, so we're going to break some of it down in this video guys. If you do enjoy it, a rating below is super appreciated, but now let's jump straight into it. So today on October 30th, update 2.05 goes live. The update is actually available in the game right now. You will need to download this in order to jump into the final reset in Festival of the Lost and jump into the new quest mission that apparently is going to become available. Before we talk any more about that, we'll break down what we know about update 2.05. And this comes from the Destiny dev team, so we've got a bunch of changes here. We'll start with the sandbox stuff. So for weapons, the Malfeasance now has increased explosive shadow detonation damage, and on top of this, they've increased the damage against Taken and Invaders. So we'll finally get to see what this actually looks like in the game. Bonus detonation damage sounds good. We'll have to see how the damage against Taken and Invaders pans out, but we also have changes to the Wishender exotic bow, so they've increased the base Wishender damage. They haven't said exactly how much. It's probably going to affect PvE more than it does PvP. They fixed an issue where the Wishender's Broadhead perk would not activate properly, which would result in a loss of damage. That was actually the issue that was reducing the damage on fast-moving targets, and Wishender's Queen's Wrath perk effects are now more readable and consistent. So we'll have to see how that one pans out as well. But next we have Trace Rifle changes, so they now spawn with 50 ammo in the Crucible. Pretty good buff right there, and they benefit from the following armor perks, so Auto Rifle Loader, Unflinching Auto Rifle Aim, Targeting, Precision Weapon Targeting, and Auto Rifle Dexterity. So fusions will always be able to be affected by Auto Rifle perks essentially, but on top of this they've increased sword damage in PvE and fusion rifle damage in PvE. Once again, we don't know exactly how much there, so we'll have to try it out. Proximity grenades now have a stat penalty to blast radius, so it sounds like a reduction in the blast radius in general for proximity grenades. But this is a big one. They've reduced the amount which Full Choke narrows projectile spread. So on shotguns, of course, this is a super popular perk, especially in the competitive stuff. So that's a minor nerf to Full Choke shotguns in general, but they've changed the dynamo and distribution perks, so players will need to activate the class ability in proximity to at least one enemy to gain the benefit. They've increased the energy gain by 20% to compensate slightly for the new requirement, and they've fixed an issue where Dynamo's effect was not scaling based on the player's class type, and the distribution perk had this, but it was unintentionally left out of Dynamo. Then we've got some general changes. They've increased the visibility through a Titan's barrier shield for allies. The white nail perk should no longer occasionally activate before the player achieves the required number of precision hits. They fixed the problem where the Soros regime scope was opaque yellow, and an issue where the Polaris Lance Perfect 5th perk was not triggering. So we had heard about some of those changes already, but just for clarification, it's good to break them down. Before we talk about activities and some other stuff, let's speak about items and economy, because we do have some of the important changes right here to a lot of players. So exotic duplicate weighting. When a player receives an exotic, we will now take into account all exotics that the player has found and weight them against exotics you have yet to acquire. This lowers the chance of receiving exotics that players already own, and hopefully that will be a good adjustment, because there are a lot of players frustrated about the drop rates of the new DLC exotics, and they say exotics that a player does not yet own are individually weighted much higher than duplicate exotics, and the player is more likely to earn armor pieces for exotic drops, as these do have randomly rolled perks. They have removed quest exotic weapons from the Engram loot pool, so Worldline 0, Ace of Spades, Wishender, 1000 Voices, Malfeasance, Lord of Wolves, and the Chaperone. Any of those quest exotics will not be able to drop from engrams anymore, or as general exotic rewards, which is really good. They've renamed Masterwork cores to Enhancement cores, so they've actually been completely updated. And these cores are now awarded by Scrapper bounties and 6 of the Spider's weekly bounties. So Scrapper bounties of course come when you break weapons down, you can get them dropped randomly, and 6 of the Spider's weekly bounties will feature these as a reward as well, and they've made enhancement cores more visible in the loot feed in the game. But then we get some more general changes. Banshee 44 now accepts up to 25 materials at a time, so that actually clarifies that change. Basically they've just increased the amount that you can turn in at once. They've removed hold time for the Spider's material exchange interactions, so you'd basically just click and you get the drop. They've increased the stack size of ghost fragments from 10 to 20, reduced Shaded Dismantle from 1 second to 0.25 seconds, fixed an issue where the Secret Victories emblem was using the wrong tracker description, and it now correctly displays as Ascendant Chests Looted. The requirements for the Queen's Bounty Purification Ritual have been clarified and now list the target as Abyssal Champions instead of Sword-Bearing Knights. They fixed the issue where the Raid Challenge Bounty wasn't actually rotating, so we should get the other challenges now. Nightfall unique rewards will drop more consistently, and the longer a player goes without a unique drop, the higher their chances of a unique reward on their next Nightfall completion goes, and the chance resets once a player receives any Nightfall unique reward. Quick list of some PC issues. Text chat auto fade can now be toggled on or off in the gameplay settings menu. When turned off, the text chat will never automatically fade out, even after a period of inactivity. But then we get some final changes to activities, and this includes stuff inside of the Gambit mode. So for combatants, they fixed an issue where the Vex Cyclopses weren't attacking players. They fixed the problem where Hive Knights and Taken Vandals were not using special abilities. They have updated the breakthrough mode in the Crucible, so they've decreased the attacker spawn time from 7 seconds to 5 seconds after the breaker is deployed. They've modified the game rules to prevent teams from forcing the round into a stalemate. In the initial fight over the breaker, the team with the most capture progress will win the breaker if time runs out without any breaker progress present. There will still be overtime if time runs out with progress present, and the breaker will go to the team with the current progress at the end of 30 seconds, or the high water mark if progress reaches 0 with no players on the breaker. While a team is hacking the other team's vault, progress decay accelerates gradually during the sudden death up to 30 seconds, after which the round will end the moment no attackers are present on the capture zone. If the round ends in a draw twice, the match ends in a tie. Neither team will get glory points from this scenario, and win streaks are maintained. So pretty interesting changes to Breakthrough. It's actually a mode that I never had the chance to play because of course there were some issues, and that's why Bungie took it away and did a little rework on it. But let me know your thoughts about that stuff down below, or any impressions once you've jumped in and played it. But then we have Gambit changes. So Sleeper Simulant now gains less ammo from heavy ammo crates on the wall in Gambit, so it only gets 2 rounds, down from 4 rounds. Swords now gain more ammo from heavy ammo crates on the wall in Gambit, up to 12 from 6. They fixed an issue where sometimes one team's invasion portal would not open. They fixed an issue where sometimes the wrong team would be credited for defeating the Ascendant Primeval. They increased the spawn rate of the Ascendant Primeval Servitor. The Gambit ship and Sparrow are no longer guaranteed drops. So that's pretty interesting if you're chasing the Dredgent title especially, and they reintroduced Quitter Protection. Players will receive 2 warnings before they're suspended from Gambit, and players will not immediately be suspended on the first match of the day if they quit a match the night before, but they have increased the suspension time to 30 minutes, so definitely not going to be worth leaving Gambit matches, and there is a bit of protection right there in case you happen to get kicked or something like that, so you won't immediately get a ban if you have an issue, but the ban will be a bit more severe. They've also fixed the problem where players could play the strike The Corrupted with a 6-player fire team, and this was the strike required for the Malfeasance quest. It definitely made it a lot easier to complete because it's a pretty high level strike. That will no longer be possible. So some interesting changes across the board. It'll be interesting to see how Gambit plays and if Sleeper is any more affected by that heavy change. Obviously it's going to be worth grinding with the double and triple infamy points coming up this week, so part of this week's reset is that we get double points in Gambit if you're leveling up. But let me know your thoughts about any of the other stuff coming in the update today, guys. Bungie also teased that on October 30th we would get a new mystery quest where we have to hunt the killers of Master Ives. There have been plenty of leaks about the potential reward and location for this quest. There has been another leak today that suggested that it might actually take multiple weeks to unlock the reward that you get from this quest, but we don't know if that's going to be true. We have, however, been teased that the quest will start today, so that's going to be really interesting. I'll keep you guys posted with that, as well as this week's reset. We'll have to see any other stuff that we find now that update 2.05 is live. Do bear in mind once again that we will have double points in Gambit all week long, and from Friday we'll have triple points, so it's definitely going to be a really good time to try and level up in Gambit. Of course, you do get different rewards unlocked when you level up every time, but on top of this, there are the titles that people are hunting for. And this requires you both to level up, complete a bunch of triumphs, and kill the Malfeasance boss a bunch of times to acquire the Sparrow and the Ghost Shell that we were just talking about, which are no longer guaranteed drops, although that boss will be spawning a lot more regularly, so it should balance itself out pretty well. Another quick thing to mention, if you are in the UK, our clocks have actually gone back now. So I believe until spring of 2019, our weekly and daily reset times will actually be at 5 PM as opposed to 6 PM. So just bear that in mind whenever your clocks go back. It could actually mean that the resets are affected by that. Stay tuned for the reset in just a couple of hours time, guys. But if you have enjoyed this video, a rating below is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel and you want to keep up to date with everything related to Destiny 2, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But for now, thanks for tuning in as always. Whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.